James Dean put the little town of Fairmount, Indiana on the map.
Man, everything was cool. That's where cool came from, you know. We all had the same mannerism, you might say, and he did this in a movie that came from Fairmount, believe me.
Most kids aren't raised in an environment where people are continually stopping and taking pictures of the house.
He's pretty much etched in the American pop icon.
Never saw anybody act like that before.
We never had any thought that he was going where he did.
James Dean was born in Marion, Indiana in 1931, and as a child, just an infant, his family moved to Fairmount with his mother and father, Winton and Mildred Dean.
He come to live with us when he was 9 and I was 14, but I remember him as just a little tot.
You know, my memories of Jimmy are just someone always being here. I can remember him going to school, and he used to work part-time at a canning factory here in Fairmount.
We were good friends. We grew up in 49, in 40s, you might say, but it was a cool time to grow up. You know, had buddies every place. Everybody got along.
Well, acting, that was his craft, so he worked at it, and that is what I definitely admire, you know, was what went into, you know, how he prepared himself.
Jimmy was a serious actor. Jimmy was a good actor, and we all knew it. We probably thought he was going places, but never in the slightest had any thought that he was going where he did.
He did over 24 live TV dramas, 2 Broadway plays. That's when he was seen by Elia Kazan on Broadway. Flew him back to California and put him right into East of Eden, his first major film.
Rebel came out, and I can remember when that place was packed. You couldn't find a seat hardly anywhere.
I remember I got out of school that day for a few hours and got to go and watch East of Eden, and I mean, it didn't seem like he was acting. To me, East of Eden was just Jimmy.
You know, I saw his acting and I was just kind of knocked out by his performances, and picked up a little button that I used to wear in a magazine and a book and a poster and started collecting, and it turned into this.
Well, in the first place, he was good looking, he was young, and determined. Anything that he wanted to do, he could about do it.
Yeah, I remember that very well. It was cold, it was in the winter. Of course, it was in February. And I can remember we were down in the lower part of Union Station, and I can remember him and Dennis Stalk coming down this stairway.
And looked in the mirror and heard this horn, and it was Jimmy. He was waving at me, so.
Dennis took a lot of pictures of Jimmy here in Fairmount.
Somebody like Dennis Stalk saw an opportunity, Life magazine, well, here's somebody, let's see where he came from.
You know, they kind of show a side of Jimmy, a down-to-earth country side of Jimmy that some of them don't.
He had a sense of what would make a good picture, what was cool.
And of course, Jimmy was interested in photography, and anyone that was a good photographer, he was a friend of him. He wanted to learn everything he could from him.
I think a lot of it was Hollywood. You know, he was already, that hat that he's wearing in front of the bank, the cap, he borrowed from somebody, I think from Polly or somebody like that.
For such a short period of time, I don't think there's anyone that had as many pictures taken of him as he has.
It's kind of nice that we do have that last record, you know, those great pictures.
Why would people from international countries and states spend a lot of money to get on a plane to come to Fairmount? To sum it all up, Fairmount's magic.
People walk up and down the sidewalks of Fairmount and rub shoulders with the local people, or vice versa.
Well, there's no question that it's had a big impact on, you know, recognition of Fairmount, but the next question is, what really does that mean?
When Martin Sheen came to visit here in 1980, I think that's when the light bulb went on for a lot of people here in Fairmount, Indiana. It's like, oh my goodness, look at this famous actor, Martin Sheen, visiting Fairmount, Indiana to pay homage to James Dean. And then I think that's when we finally realized that people outside of Fairmount really recognized the genius of James Dean.
Marilyn Monroe, James Dean, and Elvis are like the three symbols of American 50s and recognized all over the world.
There won't be another James Dean, but part of what James Dean is all about is to share where he grew up, the air that he breathed, the stars that he lived under, the train going past, and just those particular sounds that the town does give.
I mean, when I first came out here, I mean, gee whiz, you're in awe of these people. They knew him. They're related to him.
Marcus Winslow and the Winslow family are just terrific. They never turn a fan away, and they're very proud of their cousin.
I met Mark then in 1984. I was coming up Main Street. He saw me and he goes like this, you know, come on over.
Mark is just like his dad. I mean, his dad had a heart big as his head, just like Mark does.
And they're just very welcoming to the fans, and you know, there's been people at their front door just about every day or taking pictures of the house, and they're just really pleased about it and proud.
And I think that community pride is part of that, and he's definitely a big part of community pride here. So how do you quantify that? I think it's significant. I think it's definitely significant.
Well, we get people that come from all over the world to see the James Dean Gallery and to visit Fairmount, and it's kind of keeping his legacy alive. And you know, people feel a closeness when they see things that he actually owned or touched, or all the different memorabilia from all over the world, all different languages. It's kind of it's a tribute. It's a tribute to him.
Well, of course, Jimmy has never been, to us, he hasn't been a movie star. I mean, I know he is, and of course I knew when people started coming here instantly after his death, they were coming here for him, but he still didn't seem like a movie star to us. And of course it's been 60 years ago since he died.
Film star killed in an automobile crash.
Had you heard that Jimmy got killed? And I said, no. What happened? He got killed in an automobile accident. And kind of broke my heart. Good friend, you know.
Rebel Without a Cause came on. Valerie came in the door. Who's that guy, Dad? I said, well, that's James Dean. Can I watch that with you? I said, yeah, sure, sit down and watch it. I come home that night, she said, did you mail my letter, Dad? I said, no, I didn't. Here's this letter laying on our end table in the hallway. James Dean, Carewarren Brothers Studio. She had the address and everything. I said, he's dead, honey.
It's just sad to me. I wonder why he wasn't paying more attention or something when this wreck happened.
What I do remember about Dean pretty much was the period surrounding his funeral in 1955, when the town filled up, you know, with celebrities. And my parents actually took in some people into our house who were visiting.
I can remember before the funeral, people talking about all the strange people that were in town. I mean, when I say strange, I don't mean strange acting, but they were different people, you know, people they'd never seen before.
We were talking near his grave, and a couple of kids come walking up there, kids that weren't even born yet. And well, what do you like about him? What? He's cool. Well, what makes him cool? Man, he's a rebel.
We had a girl come here from Chicago. She said she could make Jimmy materialize in front of her. We got all kinds. Well, it takes all kinds to make a world. It'd be a sad place to live if we were all the same, you know. I guess that's it.
That was really good. I was not expecting that.